You said in the DeFi world that profits are of no use. Does that ring a bell? I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. The profits are of no use. And I think it related to like how you value a DeFi project.
That's in reference to DeFi tokens, right? Because they're DAOs for the most part, right? So they're not going to be there's not going to be profits per se, because they're not built to be profitable. They're built to return. So you're paying some percentage to your liquidity providers. You're hopefully distributing to your token holders at some level, in some manner. And so, whether it's through inflationary tokens, whatever it may be, it's not like they're accumulating profits in a bank account and then they look to invest. Now, I say that there are projects that are making money, right, and accumulating liquidity, and they tend to try to grow the business, but it's driven by the DAO and the community as opposed to being a centralized decision. And so that's really what it comes down to. And then the question becomes, how do you create, if you're creating a new business like we talked about earlier, non-crypto business for that matter, and a DAO is just a new approach to management and everybody participates right off the bat, does that change things in terms of, income inequality and or not even employees, but, contributors getting paid in a different manner? Because there's, if you're a contributor, and to pick a DAO for my textbook business, right? And you're hosting you're hosting a validator, and it just does all of it automatically. But as each book is bought and sold, you get your stake versions streamed to you, and you're making money right away. I mean, and I'll give you the analogy to that. Like my nephew and my son, my 12-year-old son, and my sophomore at Indiana nephew, they've got Helium Bobcat miners set up. And Helium actually has a product. It's a communications product that they sell to businesses. And those businesses buy the token to pay them for the communications that they use. And those tokens then in turn are distributed to the miners that transmit it, just like a cell tower. Like if you own cell towers, it's somewhat equivalent. And, my nephew bought them, and now he's making 50, with like 8 of them that he paid $300 a piece, he's making $50 a day. And my son has only got 3, and he's making a few dollars a day, but he's also using his gaming PC to mine Ethereum while it's still proof of work. And he's making a couple $100 a month with the price of Ethereum. And he calls it passive income, right, at 12. And so, but you get the point though, that being able to contribute in different ways. So, as you project forward and you look at optimistic roll-ups, not to get too geeky, but there's a challenge period in an optimistic roll-up where people can challenge what has happened on the network via smart contracts. And so imagine doing healthcare claims via smart roll-ups, optimistic roll-ups rather, where anybody can be a claims approver, right? All you need is a phone or a PC, and you get trained, and you get paid to go through the training in the tokens of the platform. And once you pass all the training and it's a learn to earn environment, then you're allowed to become a validator. And once you're a validator, you get to go through and based on the rules, approve the hospital claims that come through you. And then you have challengers who look for fraudulent approvals or denials of claims. And you take a portion of your income to be a validator. And if you fraudulently, approve one, you lose all the income that you vested, right, that hasn't been paid to you yet. And if you're a challenger, then you get that money, and both of you get staked earnings. Again, I'm going off on a tangent, but you see the different types of company formations and different ways to use blockchain and smart contracts to change the game in different industries and be very disruptive. And so when I talked about not putting profits at a premium or putting profits first, in a DAO-based world where you can run a company as a DAO, you start to see a different set of economics and a different management hierarchy, if at all a hierarchy. And it becomes, if there's an industry where you can have a truly decentralized company that uses the DAO to manage all this, you can change the game dramatically. I mean, and who wouldn't rather have a medical claim run through a DAO where it's in an optimistic roll-up challenge system, knowing that, you know, if someone tries to screw you over, they're going to lose the deposit they made for that validation note, as opposed to, no, we denied your claim. Okay, let me talk to your supervisor. Talk to the supervisor. No, we denied your claim. Let me talk to your supervisor. Then you go out and hire somebody who goes and renegotiates the claim, and they get it down 70% after going through all that grief. It's just ridiculous the way things operate. And so there will be ways to use these different business forms, DAOs and otherwise, to really be disruptive. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but you asked.
No, it's fascinating. Fascinating. And again, we have a bunch of students just ran into their dorm rooms to start companies related to this.
I hope so.
Before we move on from DeFi, I wanted to ask you about one of the businesses that you've invested in. It's Aave, which looks like a bank.
I'm not an investor in Aave, I'm just a user.
Oh, okay, just a user. All right. So I think that I've heard you speak about it on previous podcasts, but I know that it's a permissionless platform, fully controlled by smart contracts, and makes it easy for people to lend and borrow. But I just wanted to ask you a little bit about it and how that business model makes it more profitable than a traditional bank.
They have hardly any employees. They've got employees that, you know, basically deal with managing the DAO and update, you know, monitoring everything to make sure everything's working, right? And the rest is pretty much runs itself. If you look at the Instagram of Stanny, the guy who started it, he's traveling everywhere. He's just having a blast. It's not like he's stuck in an office working 9 to 9. You know, he's loving life and making a boatload of money. When you in a decentralized finance, a DeFi world like that, it's not necessarily the best economics for the user, but it's simple economics for the user. It makes it really, really, really easy. Just like Amazon might not give you the best price, but the switching cost is enormous, you know, and so Amazon just makes it so easy. And so, you know, all the DeFi, whether it's Aave or others, make it easy to deposit money, withdraw money, trade, speculate, lend money and earn income on that. However, and then they even bonus you, just like back in the day, they used to give toasters when you open up a savings account. Now they give you toasters